Hey, hello everybody. Hey, Sheila, Joy, how are you guys?
Doing well, Hope. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Today we're going to do our first podcast, Yeast. What is yeast, Sheila? Tell us a little more about that.
Yeast stands for your energetic, authentic self today, because we want to be present in the moment today as it stands.
That is very promising. At least it's not the yeast in the bread making. Well, it's kind of connected.
And yes, absolutely. If you think in terms of what does one need to for bread, for other things, yeast brings life. So, yes, that
Make
plays
it
into it as well.
rise.
Yes, rising to the occasion.
Awesome. Yeah, but do you remember before we call it yeast, what did we call?
Well, let's see. It started out as dye. Joy, do you remember what that stood for?
I have to think harder because we kind of feel it did not quite resonate. And then we also felt like, but we like the spell out of version. I think I remember it's dynamic, dynamic individual energy, something like that. See, it's so long ago. I need your help.
So I recall it was decide individual energy. Does that sound?
Okay.
Oh, design.
All design the individual energy.
There you go. Okay. See, it's been that long, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I also remember we tried it's die or low. And we said, what would be low? Like
That's
whatever
right.
that is.
And I
Yeah.
also remember we went through a phase, we say DYE, right?
Yep.
Design your energy
Yes.
and
There
kind
you
of
Yeah.
go.
dye the color. Then I think one day you got another fabulous idea.
Yes, I got that idea while running, and we could call it the Yaz podcast, your authentic self.
And we fell in love immediately. And then we
So what
Googled.
happened?
What happened to that bubble, Joy?
Well, I Googled and I just, burst that bubble. I was like, what? Why did you have to Google? Someone is already using that name for the podcast. I think there was a moment of disappointment, like, well, this is awesome idea. We don't think anybody would have it. Then we came up with another idea, which is even better.
Yes, we tossed around ideas around the Yaz and how, because we fell in love with it, how could we incorporate it? And I think it was actually Hope who came up with yeast.
Hmm.
Yeast, here we are. But we talked about our names, but why we didn't even have this idea of a podcast? Sheila, you have to walk us through about that.
So the idea came into play at Mod 1 for IPAC, right? We were all going through that. And for me, even though I was extremely introverted at that time, not that that has changed much, somewhat, just watching all of the people coming together from different backgrounds, whether it was race, gender, and just thinking how amazing it was to have so many awesome people together in a space where truly we're just there to learn. And not only that, be our authentic selves in that moment, that day. And just thought it would be great to have a podcast where we can just show up and have fun, be our energetic, authentic selves in that moment. And I asked Hope if she'd be willing to do it, particularly because I've said I'm great at ideas, but I knew there involved some techie kind of stuff. So I talked to Hope about it. We were in a group together right? And then Hope brought Joy into the mix, and here we are. And it has been a long time coming, and it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we remember we tried the different technologies. How are we going to even record the podcast? And Joy, you also did some research and what are the tools that we can use. Do you still remember what we tried?
I don't think I remember everything we shared. I will be honest, but I think every step we did, bring us one step closer, right? We're trying, where's the audio, the video, only voice or with video. Those are most recent. But I know like it's about almost a year ago. I was doing the research, asking others, and using some tools, even learning how to audit to edit it. But I think, the most important thing is how do we record it? And I think, hope you made some breakthrough in trying different platform after that.
Yeah, we tried a different like YouTube live event. We tried a clean feed, and then we still have some kind of only voice, but we do want to see each other so that we can have that energy going on. So I actually reached out to my friend who is a regular podcaster, and I learned from him. I said, "How are you doing recording your podcast?" He's like, "Zoom." I said, "What, really? We were using Zoom all the time." So we're running on the circle and we come back. So let's see how that works. So, Sheila, I do want to ask one more question on you have this great idea, and I'm sure Joy feels the same thing. We truly feel grateful for you to include us on such a great initiative. And can you talk a little more on what we want to get out of this podcast?
Great question. So, thinking back to the idea for it, it was really, built on the platform of coaching. In essence, just, whether it's the three of us or we bring others in, just providing a space for individuals to come in and talk about whatever. And that space being one in which it's free of judgment. It may be we're coaching each other, coaching another person, supporting that person, but just allowing them to perhaps enter a space where I'll say they're free of worry, and judgment keeps coming up again, right? Where we're just here to have fun, relax, enjoy our energetic, authentic selves in that moment, right? Today, just not worrying about yesterday or tomorrow. It's just who we are today and what that energy looks like. Someone could come in and not be happy, be mopey or whatever. If that's their energy for today, they're still welcome into our space. With the three of us, we might help them elevate that energy, right? Change that energy, shift in some way that perhaps when they leave the podcast, their energy has changed for them and they may want to come back.
I'm sure they will. And the three of us, I can tell our energy is like all over the place. Joy, do you want to add anything?
I was even thinking it will be, it's awesome when people come in, they feel inspired, they leave with a higher energy. It's also okay, if they decide to stay, emotional, but knowing people here, we're here to support them. We're going to hold the space for them so they can feel, as a person, you can be your authentic yourself, and we're here to understand you and we're here to support you whatever the way that works for that person. I think it's very important to being support that way. Actually, I just talked to a friend, and he was going through a tough time, but then he was commenting, like, wow, just talking to you, that make me feel like there's someone understand what I'm going through, and someone is there listening and supporting me, and that was very appreciative. If we can do that to people, and that's awesome.
That is spot on. And that's what yeast is all about.
Yeah.
I
And
totally agree.
plus
Yeah.
all the fun we have been having together.
We have, and getting
Yeah.
to know one another. And that's where I think the space, as far as yeast is concerned, it's,
Mhm.
as we said at the onset, it's growing,
Mhm.
building from there.
Yeah. I totally agree with both of you, what you have said. I think what we want to offer is a safe space. We all know being authentic isn't easy. And we all know we wear different masks at different times in different situations. It's tiring. So, how can we have a space, maybe not 100% of time, but maybe only for a brief of time that we can be authentic, we can be honest, we can be open, we can be vulnerable, we can share our stories so that we know we're not alone. I can tell you this from my own experience. Like I just told you, I had my first Facebook Live event. I was being not vulnerable. I was telling my story. And afterwards, and people came to me saying, thank you for sharing because I can really resonate with your story. So those are the things that I hope that we can offer to whoever want to work with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just wanted to repeat our name because I love so much East, your energetic, authentic self today, right? We wanted to be the East for the life, not only for ourselves, but for a lot of others there who are listening. And we also encourage to support them to rise at occasions, just exactly like what Sheila started.
Perfect.
That
Awesome.
is so awesome. Before we go, how about we do a go East? Come on, put our hands together.
Go
1, 2, 3, go
Go
East.
East.
Okay, this is awesome.
Love it. Love it. Love it.